So some of the stuff I worked on is the basics for a map. I've created a new height map because I had so much issue with, I will show you in later, is that I made a new height map. I earlier made a sat map, and I used the sat map in from QGIS and from, I think this one is from, yeah, I'm not sure where is it from anymore. I think Bing. My earlier sat map was filled with clouds, not really great when you want to work and place stuff. So I found and used in QGIS this Bing map, created it. I created it by finding my edge coordinates from my previous maps. So I found the edge coordinate of west on the left side and west/east on the right side, which I have somewhere here. Then also, of course, the edge on the south, which was probably this here. Edge was like in this corner. I found that coordinate, and then in the top was a bit harder, but the top was about here somewhere. So I found all those coordinates and then used in QGIS, made a layer with this box, that this is the where you make it from. You know, there is a plugin in QGIS called Game Terrains. This is where I took the sat map from earlier, but it does not really work that great, at least with the height map. Especially since it's SRTM, I think, because that's US. I need the EU, but it doesn't matter. But the thing is that the mark area is not even straight, so you can't really use this mark to create a great good area for you. So I just used the inbuilt system, doing this box from the coordinates. You know, you can, I think this is placed from a polygon or something into a layer. Then I use this plugin called Open Topography DEM Downloader. And please don't look on the API, I will close it out. But from this plugin you can download for SRTM, ALOS, Copernicus, NASA, EU, blah blah blah, whatever it is. I know Copernicus, so I used Copernicus, and then I just used this layer I created, and then export, and then it created my map, which looked like something like this. Not really, it was this. In the end it was one of these. When I got it first, it looked like this, and I actually exported and imported in, and as you can probably tell, it became like Minecraft, not really smooth. So okay, I need to interpolate somehow, and however I made it, was the end result got to be more like this. Which is kind of good for me. It worked for me. I will show you in a second how it looks. What this gave me is a lot easier to work on, because earlier my terrain, I had to have the terrain on a negative or positive Y shape, which gave me issues using the height map change of roads. I found a way to use it. I just had to change the entire spline by 4 up, I think, to make it work. But I had big issues using the sculpt flatten tool, because it didn't get where it was supposed to be. So if I had it here, it got somewhere else. So I, for example, used the spacebar to get the quick same level, but it wasn't the same level. It was for a meter down or up or whatever. But now that works. As you see, works everywhere. So now I can more streamline work on all my areas. If I show you an example what this like little interpolation gave me in the first place. I have a little bit of it on this one, but here is fine. On the previous it was not. What it gave me is this little jagged edges, but this is almost nothing. When you're playing, you're not gonna notice it so much, especially on like areas like this, where it's already smooth. In areas where there's a lot of up and down, you might notice it, but on those areas I will do smoothing. So it's gonna be good anyway. So after that I had to of course go into back some detailing of this first area, Biskop's Arma, because since I lowered my terrain and everything went into weird places. So I had to just make them you know, this thing called snap to ground and everything. The only thing I had to do was to snap to ground and it was working. I didn't have to do anything special actually. And since I worked on more detailing, which I'm not done with the detailing on this thing, I find more and more details that I want to do in the meantime. But I made more red buildings, more red wooden buildings from the models in the system. This building, I think it's I06 something house, and then I think this one is I03. I think they actually looks pretty good. I don't like this, but you're not gonna notice it so much. Then I changed the type of building here. Earlier it was like a L building, but I choose to have just barns here. That's actually what it is. I changed the graphics of these a bit in the system from my own. Then also on all my red buildings I've created, I've done also MLOD, so I don't have to have this, like this barn is regularly like white, for example. I created my own through GIMP, so the MLOD also shows a red building. Should show. Yeah, it still shows. And I did that for all the red buildings I've created using GIMP. I'll just show you that now. So if you, for example, go to this new building I created, looks like this. Also mask for it, of course. But I used GIMP, and the only thing I did was to open up the MLOD, the original, of course. For example, this. I just took a print screen, open it up in GIMP, and just added whatever color I needed. So like for example this building, I added the opacity layer with the whatever I needed. For example, this red is what I wanted to change. Just make sure that to remove it on doors if it actually even was needed, but I did it. So the MLOD is coming from this, coming from a material in the mesh. All of these stuff I make with duplicates. I don't override or anything. I just make duplicates and just make my own. So for example, yeah, this is how it looks. Kind of like the black thing, otherwise it's kind of static if it's just red. This one is fine with it, but that one needed something at least. Rework some of the coloring, blah blah blah, especially on these. Yeah, actually on all of them, but I think these two mostly to figure out what color I like to have them on them, what kind of red. A little bit rustic, a little bit kind of brighter here, brighter wood, I don't know. Just looked good. It's good to have different nuances of red. So, for example, this on MLOD looks like this here, and going out maybe a bit far out. So instead of having a white MLOD from the original building, I have a red. If we do some field of view, so I can zoom in like that. Oh yeah, zoom in is the same thing as. So if we do this, there you go, MLOD coming. Like so. So it more looks like the building that is supposed to be. So, except doing some detailing work here, I've started then, of course, utilizing this sat map, which I also like. Okay, yeah, import height map. I took the number 2. Resample heights -1 to I think 58. I choose a lower number because I didn't want to have so high stuff. And I think 256 was the next one, the next window when you do import height map. And then I worked on some small areas just to check out the height map and flatten thing. For example, this area, this was a hill, then there is a valley here, and then there is another, like a slightly bigger hill but lower. They were almost one hill earlier, so then I used the flatten tool, and you know, when you press spacebar with flatten you get the level that it is. So I used that to create this little kind of valley in this area, to create this, and just to have something to look on. And the funny thing is that when I play on this area, test the area, is that this is actually an area I used to bike and walk on a lot. Is that I found it very very true to the nature. Now there's no wood here because they've shoveled everything. When I was young there was wood here. A lot of, not so old wood, but yeah. Something I've noticed is that the tool is lagging like crazy. The tool and this test. This terrain is from me. Some grass and moss. I want the grass to be more green here. Yeah. You can find out how to make that more green. So like for example, if I walked up on this and looked down, I think there was a place more open somewhere. Like when I looked here, oh my god, it looks like I am back. Very nice. So testing out some areas like that, and then also testing out another area over here somewhere. Yeah, here. Whoa. And just looking how I can use the new height and everything. So if we go into the game here, I'll just do a quickie tour. This is a standard road. So this is how it look in game. I still have some, this is not true height, but yeah, still some small stuff That is not true, but you get that from everything. You know, going through this, how it looks with the road, and then I will do the surrounding height. Just going through here, and then I will show you the reality from Google. No woods here because this special woods. And like coming here. And if we go to the reality, we take Google Maps because there is stuff from this. This is the little part of the road I wanted to see how it looked. So if you come from there, I'm gonna start even down in the corner here, so you can see what I'm working on. That's how it looks coming from here. Let's see, now I'm straight. So it's pretty, it feels pretty great actually. Now there's this type of wood, but I don't want that wood. That's just how I want it. So I have quite a lot of this I can use for reference of heights and everything. And as you see in the woods, there is a lot of moss somewhere, and then there is not so much on the other, with some stones, granite, with some moss. And coming here. For example, here, if we go back to the game, we'll do it here, I think. So if you look like this actually might not look like it should be, but so if you look it like this, doesn't look super, but pretty accurate actually. I'm happy. And then if we go further here and into the corner here, maybe here, and look like this into the corner. So something like this was actually very hard to get. This is still probably needs a bit more work. So yeah, it does too much up. This one needs to continue. Then it goes up and left. So if you continue up here, then I'm basically on the top here. And you have to remember, I don't use the same woods, but it actually looks pretty decent. I will probably create edge rows here with some extra bushes, etc. On some places, not all. This is made from a polyline going through the entire thing. It's not one polyline here, one polyline here, and that's to create good, you can say, good from the road clearance. I will just use some extra, I believe. We'll see what I do. However, next area after I've finished some more detail here, I will always come back for more detailing. I haven't even finished the detailing, or detailing, is to make this side of the island. If I go back to the editor so I can actually see this edge, I'm gonna make, maybe I will do this island is so simple, but at least the west side, and I'll begin with the big one. To start, place all of the stuff. I've already done a lot. Here I've also done some self buildings, some more stuff. The road here is, oh exactly, I haven't changed this road since the update I made. I remade these houses a bit. They actually looks weird now. But I'm just made like this area here. I can show you maybe the part of it.